Hi everyone, welcome to the community classroom. This is Dr. Tracey McCarthy, psychologist, attorney, and educator. And as we are wrapping things up, we are revisiting the ancient Judea. And as always, if this video appears on anything other than Dr. Tracey McCarthy, it is stolen and unauthorized. Let's get started. And where do we find this ancient kingdom? No other place but the block is hot in India. And this ancient kingdom is noted in what is known as the Gupta age, and there is mention in this article of their final disappearance. And here you can see the Yaudheyas referenced in relation to tribal oligarchies and related also to this term Ghana, related to the political constitution. Now, this is the second time we've noted this word Ghana related to India. Another dynamic related to this particular kingdom is the dynamic of mounds. And in this article from 1936, you see a discussion related to the Kakra mound, and this is in the Jumna Valley. And it gives you a description of what is covered in terms of the mound. It rises up to 20 to 30 feet above the surrounding country. And so you can read a little bit more information about this mound dynamic. Off to the right, you see a notation related to this particular group, and they are noted as a federal league, and they are noted as a famous warrior tribe. Now, this is an article from the Proceedings of the Indian History Congress, and this is from 1981. One of the ways that they learned about these ancient tribes was by coins, and one coin identified an ear of corn and a spear. And over to your right, you can see the example of the coin, and on the left you see notations related to the history of this particular clan, and it's noted that it spans from as early as 500 BC until 1200 BC. It also notes that between 200 BC and 400 BC they were at the peak of their power. And we revisit the peacock, and we note that the ancient Judeas are known for this peacock. And this individual is noted for being a coin collector and accumulating a significant number of coins and information related to ancient coins. And here is additional information related to the coins, and you can see the notation. They are known as the Yaudheya Ghana people, and it's the Yaudheya Ghana period from 500 BC to 200 AD. The coin is noted as a copper coin, and it contains Karthikeya, the god of war, and this entity is holding a scepter in his right hand and has the other hand on the hip. There's also a peacock, and there's an inscription, and it says, it translates to victory to the Yaudheya people. The Yaudheya Ghana people were known as an ancient tribal confederation, and they lived in the area of the Indus and the Ganges. And also they were known as a fighter clan. So they were known to be very brave. They were great in warfare, great political structure. Also, again, related to the Marian people. Also, you see Kushanas mentioned again. And so all of these people were apparently in a similar area in India. Now, you might have also noted that the Yaudheya also translates to Yoda, which means warrior. And so we have depictions of warrior Yoda up here. And we already mentioned in the other discussion how George Lucas borrowed heavily from scripture in order to come up with some of the narratives in the Star Wars storyline. And so it's also possible that The Jedi are named after Jedediah, and also Jedediah is the name of another famous person in biblical scripture. And many people may not know that. That's some homework. Many people may not know that because so many people have name changes in scripture. It's very interesting. And sometimes you'll note that the original name has a totally different meaning in contrast to the new name. Speaking of names like Jedediah, who do we have here? Solomon. And so there's a connection between Solomon and this group in India. And there's a notation here that discusses this biblical connection and identifying Ophir as India. And so this is very interesting because Ophir has also been identified as Africa. And so there's also a notation related to King Solomon's affinity for peacocks and how peacocks are indigenous to India and how Solomon is supposed to have traveled repeatedly to Ophir to get all sorts of riches. Now this coincides with that writing that was sent to King Charles related to King Solomon and Ophir. And also recall that Ophir is related to the name of Abraham's nephew. Now, according to this discussion, peacocks were brought to Jerusalem by King Solomon's fleet. And these were supposedly coming from India because peacocks are only found in the Indian subcontinent. And you can also see there's a notation about paintings with Solomon and also him wearing a peacock. There are also some additional interesting historical notations related to the Judea where they were noted as being incorporated into the Marian Empire. And so we talked about the Marian Empire before, and there are other notations that indicate that the Judea Ghana people were at some point incorporated into this Mari Empire. And here you see additional notations related to the Yaudheya. They are an ancient Indian clan, and you also note that they are again noted as a warrior class of people. And what's interesting is when they are talking about the coins, they are indicating that the coins have a depiction of Brahmani. What's interesting about that is when you do an anagram, Abram comes out of that. And here are additional coin depictions for that particular clan. This time the coin is in gold color. Now it would be interesting to know what the translation is for the words on this particular coin. And here you can see additional depictions of the coin. This is a bit more clear, and you also see some notations down below. One thing that you might want to do in terms of homework is to look up the original meaning of the name Abram versus the name Abraham. Now, these are some very unusual findings and notations in terms of history. This is not exactly the place that many people would expect to find information related to that particular cultural group. It also brings up some questions, again, related to all of this migration related to India and all of these place names and villages and clans in India that are also located in Africa. And so this brings up a number of questions, and perhaps you can continue doing research on it and find some answers for yourself. Remember, knowledge is power. Take care.